So I wanted to talk to you about words. So I want to talk to you about awareness versus consciousness and consciousness versus subconscious and unconscious. So I want to talk about this specifically from a dictionary definition and then go into it from there from the perspective of an analogy to be able to better understand the concept from a different perspective. Okay, so let's start with awareness. Awareness is the knowledge and understanding that something is happening or exists. Being aware doesn't mean you know, right? You have a feeling. Like being agnostic. You acknowledge that there is a higher power. You're just not sure what it is. That's awareness. Consciousness is a state of being aware, especially within oneself. This is a state of being characterized by sensation, emotion, volition, and thought. Awareness is also, in the dictionary, it gives you these synonyms, antonyms, etc. It says that mind is consciousness. I do not agree with this, but that's just me. Because you can be fully aware and not conscious at all. Okay, and then the last one, the last definition that they came out with, that came out for consciousness, was different in a certain way. It is the upper level of mental life of which the person is aware, as contrasted with unconscious processes. For example, you are consciously aware that somebody is coming towards you because you see them, right? You are watching them come towards you. You are aware consciously that they're coming towards you. You are unconsciously aware that they are going to speak to you. You just feel it, right? You don't know why, you just feel it. And then they speak to you. Now you are completely and totally consciously aware that that person wanted to speak to you, is now speaking to you, and you are consciously picking your words in order to speak to that person and in whatever way that you need to. Or you're completely oblivious, walking in your own little world and run into that person completely unaware that they were even in your path, and now you're having an unconscious or subconscious conversation with them. Let's talk about that next. Okay, so if consciousness is the awareness, let's say that's surface level, okay? Subconscious is right below the surface, maybe up to 50 feet down, okay? It's not super dark. It's a little bit murky. There's a little bit of distortion because, you're underwater, but it's still understandable. For example, when you're driving to work and you start thinking about something, you come to and you're like, oh, how'd I get to work? Your subconscious took over. While you were floating around in that thought process, your autopilot, as we call it, took over and drove your vehicle to work, knowing exactly where to go because you take the exact same route every day. It works on muscle memory, okay? Let's talk about the difference between unconscious and subconscious from a dictionary definition perspective. Unconscious, not knowing, perceiving, or not aware, free from self-awareness, not unconsciously, not consciously held or deliberately planned. Understand that that's exactly one of the last things that I wanted you to see is unconscious awareness. If you are unconscious, you are not consciously in any way, shape, or form planning anything. If you are speaking to a person who you have deemed as not awake, how could you possibly deem them as consciously aware of the decisions they make? You can't. When you are not consciously aware, you act on instinct in that subconscious level. But when you get down to the unconscious level, it becomes to the point of where even your mind doesn't understand what it's doing. That would be your autonomic nervous system. Again, this is like even deeper than your subconscious awareness, which would be existing in the mind, but not immediately available to the consciousness. Okay? And this is mental activities just below the threshold of consciousness. Like I said, mental activities like driving, we call that autopilot. It's your subconscious taking over because you are consciously giving your attention to something else while you should be giving your attention to whatever it is you're doing. So your subconscious, that level right below where your brain is working as well. And then below that is another level that's working, and that's the unconscious level. That's your autonomic nervous system. Touch a hot stove, immediately pull it back before your brain's even had a thought to think about it, right? So that's your autonomic nervous system, or the unconscious training of your body that is done at a level that is cellular. If you are not aware of the levels of your consciousness just within your own mind, how could you possibly be aware of the consciousness levels beyond the human experience? Have a wonderful day, guys.